Why the Boston Red Sox desperately need Wilyer Abreu back in their lineup.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby Maljanian, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast as well. And I'm here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed. And the best part, it's free. So make sure you're tuned in because Locked On is here for you every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. Sound cool? I'll tell you all about it a little bit later, but welcome to today's show. Disappointing series over the weekend against the Yankees for the Boston Red Sox. Could they be in trouble when it comes to their wild card standings? Going to be talking about that a little bit later on today's show, as well as who needs to step up more down the stretch in order for the Red Sox to truly make a deep playoff run. Now, you think about this series against the Yankees and the fact that going into this series, there was a lot on the line. The Red Sox and Yankees are neck and neck for the number 2 wild card spot. And by the way, the third wild card team, which is the Houston Astros right now, is only 1 game behind the Red Sox for the third wild card spot. So all 3 of those wild card spots are so tight right now in the race that it's not a guarantee at all who's going to clinch what. And this was a huge weekend in which the Red Sox could have capitalized on separating themselves a little bit and trying to get back up there with the Yankees, because this is a situation in which it's looking like the Red Sox very well could be playing the Yankees in the wild card series. And if they do, right now, if the season were to end today, that wild card series would be at Yankee Stadium. And the Red Sox, if I were them, should want to play that series at home. So definitely a disappointing series, but the Red Sox need to continue to win games. And it's going to be hard to win games if you're not able to find consistency on offense. The Red Sox have been lacking a lot of offensive productivity as of late. And part of that is due to injuries that they have had to some key players, including Wilyer Abreu, who is desperately needed back in this Red Sox lineup. He was one of the Red Sox best offensive contributors when he was healthy. And while the Red Sox won yesterday to improve to 82-68 on the season and be able to close the gap with the Yankees slightly, the Red Sox did drop the first 2 games of this series, and the lack of offense was a big reason for that. And it's just been a tough stretch here ever since Roman Anthony and Wilyer Abreu went down. Those 2 players are guys that are very much needed in this lineup. And when Wilyer went down, they could still get away with it because Roman was still healthy and they had enough healthy guys to where people could step up. But they are just 4-6 over their last 10 games. Ever since Roman got injured, they have a losing record. Now, they do have an off day today, so that's a good opportunity for them to be able to reset. But it also helps to buy time until the Red Sox can get Wilyer back. Any off day that they have right now is a blessing for this team because it's an extra day for him to recover and be able to return. So it's just tough where they are at this particular moment in time. But why would Wilyer Abreu make such a big difference when he comes back? So he's been out since August 17th. That was the last game he played. That day he went 2 for 3 against the Marlins, but has been out since with a calf injury. And the Red Sox are just anxiously awaiting his return. Essentially, he was asked about his return and when he thinks he'd be able to come back. And he said, I don't know, soon, waiting for the trainers to let me play. Maybe next week. I don't know. I've been hitting. I've been doing everything. I don't feel anything when I hit. The progressing of running has been very good. It took a lot longer. I thought it wasn't a big deal, but I'm focused on being healthy and 100% next week and the rest of the season. It's very tough to not play and help the team. Waiting to be healthy and 100% so I can play the last couple of games and potentially the playoffs. So he's kind of taking it day by day. and he's bummed that his recovery is taking longer than he thought it would, but he just wants to get back to the team as soon as possible. And the Red Sox could certainly use him because he's second on the team in home runs with 22 and third in RBIs with 69. So clearly the Red Sox are betting on his return because Alex Cora also noted during the weekend series that the Red Sox are hoping he can reach just 90% before getting back on the field. So essentially, they feel like right now he's needs about another 4% to reach their target. They're tracking his recovery with a lot of precision right now because as soon as he hits 90%, they'll bring him back. But they still think he needs to get another 4% better before they are willing to activate him. Alex Cora did say they're shooting at 1 point this week. He said, I'm not sure if it's the Athletics or Tampa, but it seems like he's feeling a lot better. Yesterday, he ran at 86%. Like I said, getting to 90% is good enough for us, so we'll just have to wait and see. So, obviously, the waiting and seeing part is the most frustrating part about all of this. But the reason why is because Wilyer Abreu would completely help the Red Sox bounce back to a lot of their offensive productivity that they saw earlier in the year. They still struggle right now to score with runners in scoring position. In the series against the Yankees, they left a ton of runners on base because they're lacking that fire right now, and they're lacking those players that can help drive in runs when needed. You look at Romy Gonzalez and the tear he's on offensively right now. He has been one of the biggest pieces offensively with this Red Sox team that has really helped get them to where they are at this particular moment and has helped them to at least tread water in these rough last couple weeks with the injuries that they've had. But overall, the Red Sox offense has been disappointing. Alex Bregman has been in a huge slump. Trevor Story is somebody who needs to continue to step up on offense in order for this Red Sox team to get back on track offensively. And you look at the middle of the order and you look at certain players here like Nathaniel Lau, who has been underwhelming and hasn't been able to produce at a high level consistently for this Red Sox team so far either in the time that he's been here. So you think about certain names of players that you want to see step up more on offense. Jarren Duran is even another one who's had a disappointing season offensively compared to what we saw from him last year. And overall, he's just not giving the Red Sox what they need from an offensive standpoint. And you think about the offense right now and how they've been struggling to score runs. Well, Wilyer Abreu coming back can help with that because he has been one of the most clutch hitters on this team when it comes down to a runner being on base and needing somebody to step up to the plate that can drive in that run. You can trust that Wilyer Abreu will be a guy who will at least put together a productive at-bat. And what's a little bit concerning about it is the fact that he has been hurt now and he hasn't played baseball in a month. When he comes back, he might scuffle a little at first, and the Red Sox can't really afford that. They are at the point in the season now where they need to be winning as many games as possible. And they can't be losing series, and it's going to be tough because they do have a tough schedule coming up here. But if he's scuffling early on and you can't really rely on his bat, that's a little bit scary because the Red Sox really need it, and they're banking a lot on his return. And when they had been struggling offensively, a lot of people thought that maybe the Red Sox would change up the lineup a little bit, send somebody down to AAA and try different guys out. But they're kind of standing pat right now, and it's because they know that Wilyer is close to returning, and they feel confident enough that the guys that they have right now can tread water for them until they get to the point where Wilyer is back and is a regular presence in that lineup. But he could have made a difference in this series over the weekend against the Yankees, given how many missed opportunities that the Red Sox had on offense. And if you think about the Red Sox record against the Yankees on the season, 9-4. Two of the Yankees wins came in this series. This was the first time all season that the Yankees won a series against the Red Sox, and it was the series in which Roman Anthony and Wilyer Abreu were not in the lineup. I mean, come on. You can't tell me that that couldn't have been reversed if they had a productive bat in there like Abreu. He makes a big difference to this team offensively, not to mention the fact that he won a Gold Glove last year in the outfield, but his offensive productivity is what would make the biggest difference right now to this Red Sox team. So they absolutely need him back. I'm good with rolling him at 90%. No sense waiting until he's 100% at this point, because the Red Sox need to do everything that they possibly can to put themselves in the best position to clinch a playoff spot, because the more that they fool around with this, the more they might see their playoff chances slip back. And they want to give themselves a chance to have home field advantage for a wild card series. That just is what it is, especially if they're playing the Yankees. There's such a toxic environment playing a playoff game at Yankee Stadium if you are the Boston Red Sox. So you want to make sure that you do as much as you can to land home field advantage in that series. And if that means Abreu plays at 90% instead of 100%, so be it. So it sounds like he's really close. The Red Sox feel confident that he can come back this week. The sooner the better. I'd love to see his name pop up on a lineup card in the next couple days here, but he will make this offense better. And coming up, what exactly was frustrating about this series against the Yankees over the weekend? I'm going to be discussing that next. Do you like sports betting? Are you trying to get into it? If you answered yes to either of those questions, FanDuel is the perfect place for you, especially with the NFL season being here. It's making sure you're ready for kickoff every Sunday with a can't miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. It's a great opportunity to win lots of money, to make sure you check it out. And also check out PrizePicks. You know why PrizePicks is so great and so beneficial for really any sports fan? It's because it is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action with football back. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. I actually love checking my projections, like Josh Allen for more or less than 270 passing yards, or Saquon Barkley for more or less than 1 rushing touchdown. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. It truly is good to be right. And if you download PrizePicks and start making those daily projections, I promise you, you will make a lot more money than what you're making now. And who would complain about making lots of money? Life is good when you do, right? So download PrizePicks today and start making those projections now. The Red Sox had a difficult and incredibly frustrating series over the weekend against the New York Yankees. And one big takeaway from this series is that they need Wilyer Abreu back in their lineup. He is one of the best hitters on this Red Sox team, and not having his bat in the lineup has seriously hurt this offense to the point where the Red Sox have really struggled to score with runners in scoring position. The first game against the Yankees, they lost 4-1. In that game, they had Lucas Giolito on the mound. He threw 5 2/3 innings, giving up 5 hits and 2 runs, but only one of those was earned, with 1 walk and 6 strikeouts. The 1 earned run came on a home run. So he did generally do his job, but he took the loss because he could not get run support from his team. He generally had it. Justin Wilson came in to pitch and gave up another 2 runs, which is how the Yankees ended up with 4 runs in this game. But the biggest issue was that the Red Sox could not score. As a team, they left 7 on base and they went 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Lau went 0 for 2 in that instance. Duran 0 for 1. Nate Eaton 0 for 1. David Hamilton 0 for 1, Yoshida 0 for 2, and Rafaela 0 for 1. So these are some key hitters here that were listed there that you want to be able to step up more. Cedar Rafaela, for example, who has had very much been struggling after the All-Star break. and then kind of got back into a little bit of a high, but now is back on a low at the plate and just can't seem to figure things out. He's still chasing pitches well outside the zone, and he's not putting together competitive at bats. He had a 3-pitch strikeout in a key moment in Saturday's game against the Yankees. So again, just not putting together productive at bats. Masataka Yoshida, who really has not been able to put together a lot of productive at bats for the Red Sox in general in his time here, he went 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Lau 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Duran 0 for 1. I mean, we're talking guys who really need to step up in this lineup to ensure that this Red Sox team can deliver at the highest level. Nate Eaton and David Hamilton, both guys who have spent a lot of time in AAA and have switched back and forth between AAA and the majors over the course of the season. Both are guys that I was hoping would continue to make strides, but David Hamilton especially hasn't really been able to make strides. He's just been continuing to struggle as an offensive player on this Red Sox team. So you have those two players who you don't really feel like can contribute consistently, although Nate Eaton is the reason why the Red Sox even scored a run on Friday night. They put up just 2 hits in this game, and one of those hits came via a Nate Eaton home run late in the game. I mean, the Yankees had a no-hitter going until very deep in the game, and then Nate Eaton broke it with a home run. But 2 hits in the game. That's another reason why they need more offensive help. You cannot go into a game that's this high stakes and get just 2 hits. It was an absolutely incredibly pathetic performance by the Red Sox on offense, and it just further solidifies the fact that the Red Sox really need some of their big bats back, like Wilyer Abreu. Then game 2 of the series, the Red Sox lost 5-3. They did bring the bats a lot more in this game than they did in game 1 with 10 hits in this game. Brayan Bello was on the mound. Bello, who usually dominates the Yankees in his career, had a scoreless streak going against this Yankees team that was broken in the game on Saturday, where he just didn't look himself. He threw 5 innings, giving up 5 hits and 4 earned runs, 1 home run, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He threw 92 pitches in this game, with 52 of them going for strikes, bringing his ERA to a 3.25. He hasn't exactly had a great September, especially considering how good the rest of his season has been. He has an ERA in September of 5.63 after a stellar summer where he averaged a 2.64 ERA. So I still would trust him and have faith in him for a playoff run to be that number 2 starter, but he just hasn't really looked as sharp in September. That's something the Red Sox are going to have to get to the bottom of very quickly if they want to be able to rely on him in the playoffs, is figuring out what could be causing these September struggles for him. But that was one thing that went wrong for the Red Sox in Saturday's game, because after Friday night, I said, okay, the Red Sox didn't really bring their bats. They couldn't score. They couldn't get runs across. So that is what it is. Lost the game. Let's go out there and try to win the series still, because Bello and Crochet are going to be pitching. So they went into game 2, could not win that game either, because of especially the fact that Bello just wasn't overly sharp. From a hitting perspective, once again, though, the Red Sox left 8 runners on base and went just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Connor Wong actually came through with a hit in that situation, believe it or not. He went 1 for 2 with runners in scoring position, with Romy Gonzalez going 0 for 2, Cedar Rafaela 0 for 2, and Carlos Narvaez 0 for 1. And Romy Gonzalez, who had been riding this 12-game hitting streak, he is still on a hitting streak because he has just been absolutely on fire at the plate, but could not come through when they needed it the most, which was when runners were in scoring position. It's the situational hitting that has been a problem for this Red Sox team, and it's something that's continuing to be a consistent pattern, is the Red Sox not being able to drive in runs when they need to, when there are players on base. And that's something that I've been continuing to echo, because it's very deafening right now. It's very blatantly an aspect of this Red Sox team that used to be a strength, but is slowly turning into a weakness because of the fact that the Red Sox are missing key hitters. And there are certain players who could contribute a lot more that aren't in the lineup every day right now. So definitely a disappointing game once again. The Red Sox were able to win the last game of that series because they came out swinging in that game. They recorded 12 hits. And early on, it looked like it was going to maybe be a blowout game. The Red Sox put up 6 runs in the first inning, and I thought they were going to continue to hit, but the bats were kind of silenced a lot after that first inning. Will Warren was pitching for the Yankees. He obviously needed to just get settled in because after the first inning, he was able to keep the Red Sox lineup at bay. But I thought, okay, excellent. We have a 6-0 lead. Great cushion for Crochet. Things are looking good. But then the Red Sox weren't scoring anymore. And the Yankees just kept chipping away, giving runs back, and just moving closer and closer to the Red Sox. It ended up being a 6-4 game. The Red Sox had to use their high leverage options out of the bullpen. Garrett Whitlock came in and took care of business in the 8th inning. Aroldis Chapman took care of business in the 9th inning. But it was a little bit of a closer game than I wanted it to be for comfort because of the fact that the Red Sox had a 6-0 lead early. And this all goes back to the point again, the fact that their bats just got silent after that first inning. That shows the Yankees pitcher just needed to get settled in. And then once he got settled in, the Red Sox really couldn't touch him because of the fact, again, that they don't have hitters who have been able to be consistent a lot. In this game, they left 6 on base and went 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position. So a little bit better than what we had seen from them in the previous 2 games. But Rob Refsnyder went 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Alex Bregman did go 1 for 1 in that scenario. Nathaniel Lau 1 for 1, Romy Gonzalez 1 for 2, and then Cedar Rafaela 0 for 1, and Carlos Narvaez 0 for 2 in that situation. So Bregman, Lowe, and Romy were able to make the most of at-bats when there were runners in scoring position, but everybody else that went up to the plate in that situation could not get the job done. So I almost guarantee you that if Roman Anthony and Wilyer Abreu, or even just one or the other, were in the Red Sox lineup in this series, you have to wonder how things could have been different, because the Red Sox have been dominating the Yankees all season long, leading up to this particular series. Every other series this season against the Yankees, the Red Sox won. Then they went into this series and they struggled. And granted, the Yankees had good pitchers on the mound in Max Fried and Luis Gil, both of which have had good, strong seasons for the Yankees. Gil just came off an injury recently, but he has been overly reliable since coming back from the IL. And then Max Fried, who has been the Yankees' ace ultimately this year because of Garrett Cole being out for the season. So these were good pitchers that they went up against, especially in those first 2 games. But the Red Sox can hit good pitching. They have shown before that they can. So it's once again bringing back the fact that Wilyer Abreu was desperately needed back in this lineup again. And the Red Sox pitching ultimately didn't do its job the best way that it could have. The bullpen especially, which has been the best bullpen in the American League all season long. The bullpen was a disappointment in this series against the Yankees too, as it was not nearly as sharp as we've seen from it before. So that ultimately was the Red Sox downfall, not being able to hit in key moments, and the bullpen overly not being as sharp as it usually is, and also Brayan Bello not having it. So a few different factors that led to a very frustrating series loss, but who needs to step up moving forward in order for the Red Sox to clinch a playoff spot? I'm going to be discussing that next and calling some guys out, so you won't want to miss that. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. Whether you are at work, out with friends, or even just getting ready in the morning, Nutrafol gives you more confidence in your daily routine. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. It's never fun to feel like your hair is gross. I use Nutrafol all the time, so make sure you start using it as well. As the Boston Red Sox look to really lock in and hopefully clinch a playoff spot, they have work to do. Nothing is guaranteed at this point. The wild card standings right now are incredibly close, and the Red Sox are neck and neck with a couple of teams. As things stand right now, the Yankees have the first wild card spot with a record of 83-66. They are 2.5 games ahead of the Boston Red Sox, who are 82-68 right now. So they are a game and a half behind the Yankees, and the Houston Astros are 81-69. They are a game behind the Red Sox for the third wild card spot. The Rangers are closely behind the Astros, 2 games out of a wild card spot in general. 2 games even is not very much. The Red Sox have teams on their tails, and they have some competition. This is not going to be just a coast through to the playoffs. This is going to be the Red Sox need to win every series moving forward to ensure that they can actually land a spot in the postseason. So, with all of that being said, they have work to do. And players need to step up. Guys need to step up maybe more than we've seen them step up overall. One of those players who needs to step up more than he has been as of late is Cedar Rafaela. He had a big first half of the season, was driving in runs a lot, was the Red Sox arguably hottest hitter for a period of time, and was able to actually put together productive at-bats, was looking a lot more patient at the plate, and looked like a lot more mature of a hitter than what we had seen from him in the past. And it was a very nice and welcomed change. But as of late, ever since the All-Star break, he has been struggling significantly to put together some consistency on offense. And that's something that the Red Sox are going to need, because right now it feels like the bottom of the order is a bunch of automatic outs. And earlier on in the season, even the bottom of the order was tough for opposing pitchers to pitch to, because you had Rafaela in the 9-hole who was making noise and making a difference. You had Carlos Narvaez in there who was also hitting well. So you had guys at the bottom of the lineup that you could rely on. Now that's very much not as much the case. Carlos Narvaez is a great example of this. The Red Sox need Carlos Narvaez to do a lot more than he is. He is a guy who had been hot and cold. He was a guy who earlier on in the season was producing at a very high level. Then he started slumping back a little bit, but then he got back on track, and now he just has not been nearly as effective with the bat as he was earlier on. And not to mention the fact that he has struggled behind the plate, leads the league in catcher's interference calls, and had a couple big baseballs that went past him. And during games in which it's high stakes and the other team has runners on base, that just cannot happen. So his defense hasn't exactly been super clean, but his offense is the biggest concern that I'm having right now, because his bat was one of the better ones in the Red Sox lineup early on. And now it's looking like he's come back down to earth, and this is more the player that he is, because a lot of the reports about Carlos Narvaez when the Red Sox picked him up and made that trade with the Yankees were saying that he wasn't exactly known for his offense. He was known for having strong defense behind the plate, and that his offense is definitely a weaker aspect of his game. So I didn't really have super high expectations for him offensively, but then he made me increase my expectations by hitting well when he got here. So now it's starting to feel like, okay, maybe this is more the hitter that he is, and he just was riding a high and was just having a really good season offensively early on. That's what I am feeling like this is. And it's disappointing because you take away yet another bat who was really productive earlier on. So you think about all of that and you say, wow, now we don't really have a bottom of the order that's overly reliable. Connor Wong, as of late, has been hitting slightly better, but he overall isn't somebody you can really count on. Masataka Yoshida in the middle of the lineup absolutely has to produce at a lot higher level than he is. He is making too much money from this Boston Red Sox team to go out there and not be able to come through nearly in any situation, especially the important ones when there are runners on base. That needs to change. It's unfortunate that the Red Sox couldn't find a trade partner for him, but I unfortunately don't blame teams for not wanting to trade for him. So the Red Sox are kind of stuck with him, but he needs to step up a lot more than he has been. That has been a major problem. Alex Bregman, same thing, who for the most part has made a world of a difference to this Red Sox team. I've talked a lot about his off-the-field leadership and what he has done to impact the younger players on this team. But on the field, he also is being relied upon to be that leader and be one of the best players that the Red Sox have to offer. Defensively, he certainly is. He's still making some beautiful plays at third base. But the problem is he's been in a big slump offensively, and the lineup has taken a huge hit because of that. Because this Red Sox lineup can hit very well. It has the potential to be one of the best lineups in baseball. And for a while this season, the Red Sox were putting up some league leading numbers in certain categories offensively. And a lot of that had to do with Alex Bregman showing fans why he was worth as much money as he was to come to Boston and proving that he's a veteran in this sport who knows how to come through in the big moments. But as of late, he just has been in a slump. He's somebody who needs to step up a lot more. Brayan Bello on the pitching side needs to make sure that he gets himself back on track because he just has not had an overly sharp September. And that's something that needs to change now come playoff time because the Red Sox are banking on Brayan Bello to be their number 2 starter in the playoffs. You can't bank on him being your number 2 starter if he's pitching the way that he pitched against the Yankees over the weekend. Yes, that could have just been a bad start, but he needs to figure it out. Those players that I mentioned are wild card players that can make or break how well this team does in the playoffs. So hopefully they are able to turn things around there. I really, truly appreciate you always tuning into Locked On Red Sox and making it your first listen of every single day. For your second listen, be sure to check out Locked On MLB Game Night, which you can find on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's our local experts giving you the latest on every game, every single night, all the way up until a World Series champion is crowned. They give you local analysis on a national scale. So make sure you check out that show next. It really is enjoyable to listen to. And like I always say, keep the faith, go Red Sox, and I will catch you on the flip side.